listen to some other music here if you care to. There will be no game audio. Okay. These comps given, it feels like for some teams that were like confident, so I'm like thinking World Cup and then also here and then maybe like some of the show matches as well between different teams. It feels like the more confident team, like the Owl teams versus the like contenders teams. It was also like I'm trying to think, the World Cup Korean team versus the Runaway team, or was it Kongju they played? Maybe they played both of them. One of them, they was like whatever. They played Goats with one. I think it was Runaway played that, and then the Owl team, who's been practicing more Mercy Zen, played that, and it feels like you're more confident playing that if that's what you've been playing, and it feels like that's the more ballsy, harder to play team comp rather than Goats. So it works for them because DM is such a monster Widow as well. So paying attention to just the Pharah alt charge is important. He is hitting like very mass rockets right now. So I understand what LGD is doing, rotating the way they are. I don't know if I agree with it, just for the fact that it feels like Runaway really showed teams how to play Goats, where if you're playing against spam, and if you're playing against a Pharah especially, you want to be making rotations where you don't need to be touching the point immediately. You're not actually gaining that much value. A lot of times you're just using your healer's resources and potentially giving them a chance to die. So it's usually better to play safe and then look to touch the point and look to maybe zone the other team before the point or as the point is opening. So maybe I put a little bit of game audio in, but just for me. The problem is like the point's opening and it's being capped, but the FAR's at 81%. Something Runaway did so good was every single time they were like fighting, it was like the FAR was going to get barrage, but she was getting it like 10%. So there was just that window of time where you're just able to build it. They're pushing out now, but it takes so long for this trade to happen that you just isolate your Ana so hard. Like they're out this far, and you see when you turn, there is so much opportunity for Lucky Future to engage. All this area right here where the Ana could have been like all the way on point to this area is where the monkey could have been zapping her. The Far is sitting somewhere in the air able to spam her, so you can't go out this far to dive one person. Like if you're not going to get the kill very efficiently, then it's just the fault of your team and you kind of just have to reset on the point. You don't want to be in this instance where you're basically coming back to the point with no way to counter this barrage that's just going to wipe you. Once all the tanks have no HP, they have no cooldowns, then it's just it's free reign for the Widow, Zen, and Pharah. Then once you're retaking with this goats, it's really hard. You have to find like very specific places to walk, and hopefully you're not getting spammed. And yikes, that beat. Accidental beat. Like if you're LGD here, you probably go under and then try to wrap her around like through the building, so it's a lot safer. And then a lot of times the tanks will be holding like at the door, and then you can potentially look for like a Brigstone setup and then grab them. But yeah, I don't like this where the Diva's able to throw bomb from courtyard and be pretty safe. So like, there's nothing LGD really can do to punish that is the problem. So am I missing something? Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was just weird how the kills happened there, but it's fine. This is probably what should have happened. Once you realize that you're having to retake with this goats comp and you don't know where anyone is, I like swapping usually the brig to a Sombra or just something else to give you more threat. Like I feel like you're too one-dimensional with the one comp, so give yourself some options. But I don't like going through this choke at all. Like this choke, there's no way you're gonna be able to get coast without a forest spamming you and potentially conking you. Like I feel like the only route you take is either like you split it so you have like a member or two baiting here, and then you have the rest of the members coming through here, or you have to split the doors in some way. If you six stack a door, the Widow's standing super far back. Both the tanks are both gonna like stand in like pretty like passive locations, and they're gonna be able to just spam you in the doorway. So they're gonna be able to spam you in the doorway, and then the supports are gonna be able to play in like an even safer spot and like pocket them. Yeah, they just didn't have any alt charge to retake. Okay, they're playing more meta stuff now. It's kind of strange. It looks like LGD's DPS are playing kind of not how they should be, where Lucky Future's DPS are playing exactly how you should be. Like, it should be the Sombra is the one initially scouting ahead of the Tracer, and then the Tracer follows up and is like looking for plays from behind, and then you look to engage. But looks like LGG's like straight in a ball. Looks like they're still worried. They're still playing goats in that style. Sure, they're able to like push up onto the bridge, but the problem is if you have like 6 members or like 5 members and just the Tracer coming from here, the Diva's gonna be able to peel pretty efficiently, and they're just gonna be able to walk back in one direction, and then you open up yourself to having your entire team here, and then getting shot at from the bridge, and then potentially the Tracer and the Sombra all going to be able to crossfire you, which is what you don't want. So I would have liked for LGD to have members coming from over here and basically forcing Lucky Future to have like an awkward rotation backwards, but you can see how safe they are at this point. And then now the entire team is on the bridge, and DM and Urster are just able to shoot them in the back as they're trying to come back and cross. Like, you probably just chase them to the bridge if you're not able to get that crossfire from behind them, or you go for the commit and then you immediately peel back, but you put your tanks in front so your sports are able to like be safe, and you just rotate back to dojo because LGD wasn't gonna be able to like have a 6-man fight in time. I don't know what LGG is doing. Like, I need to be able to see these DPS. So it looks like Shy is trying to flank from the left, which is good. They're like trying to dive the backline, but so many members of Lucky Future are like all in this clump right here, so they're all able to peel. And then by the time they've jumped right here, they're like trying to reset in the dojo, but that's exactly where the Ana is. And it's like they forgot where the Ana was, that they were all trying to dive initially. So they just walk into an ante. Like their play was to dive the Lucio and the Ana there. And then they just forgot as they like reset on top of the Ana. And like no one was even looking at her. Like the Diva could have just eaten the anything. Eating the nade, eating anything. I think that was actually pretty huge for Eileen. Yeah, his EMP is going off first, so it outpaces DM. Yeah, LGD should be able to retake this. They lost their Moira though, so they have to win pretty quickly. Yeah, those bombs weren't needed. So just playing to stall. If Marvel's swapping to Monkey, it's a little bit different, but with how LGD's DPS have been playing, I feel like they're just at an advantage here, Lucky Future, because they're just. It feels like they're not just gonna be pressured as much, and they're not. This Tracer is not has the wrong pathing. You don't want to. He plays to poke out the Lucky Future's Tracer, which is good, but then he plays to put like 3 bullets in, and then like dash behind. But then at that point, they already know where he is, and so he's getting tagged as he's coming in, and he has to immediately pop recall. So he spent time rotating, and it actually didn't get much value, and so he's not doing any bullet damage right now. Like, the Primal's able to kill Lucid, but he did like nothing that fight. Lucky Future picking a mega brawl comp. This actually looked to be really huge, so it's really hard to see where the camera angles are. But so the play is DM and I don't know, or IDK, I guess that's probably better to say, are basically playing to not get EMP'd. Everyone else is playing to bait get EMP'd. Like Lucid is way too far forward right now for it not to be a bait. So IDK is hiding with the beat. It saves Lucid. They overcommit for him. The beam's coming out to try to save them. The EMP basically hits the Lucio, the beam, and then the majority of the members in the front line as well. So then they're really able to just clean this up. Like LGD isn't able to get their beat off, which is a big issue. Like Future just needs to have bodies on the point. They don't need to peel as hard as they did. getting touched, but they should just be able to just get cleaned.